retracing Colter's steps, seeing what he saw, hearing what he heard, and experiencing firsthand how he and his contemporaries survived in the wilderness, how they pitched a shelter, built a fire, followed a trail, and forded a stream. Chapter 4 offers an interpretation of Colter's 1807-1808 winter trek based on this kind of careful, on-site investigation of the entire route, in collaboration with cited historical, archaeological, and cartographic evidence. Reconstructing Colter's movements based partially upon secondary evidence is acceptable in this context. Like scientific theory, such an endeavor involves using informed interpretation to prompt further investigation. The result is an accumulation of knowledge on the subject and a steady movement toward verification. In this case, it is important to refrain from claiming the final word on the subject. Further thought and study are encouraged. Substantial endnotes are provided for this purpose. In addition to first-hand and secondary evidence, other information exists, apocryphal information that envelops every legendary person like a fog, obscuring the story. This makes the task of creating a valid interpretation all the more difficult and important. While searching for every available scrap of useful information, the researcher must dismiss many sources. Those sources deemed valid and pertinent to the study of John Colter appear in works cited. Chapter 1. Discovery. The Missouri River meanders 3,000 miles across the interior of North America. It begins as snowmelt in the lofty peaks of the Rocky Mountains and trickles into rivulets that converge to form the river. From there, the Missouri follows its ancient path through arid foothills and windswept prairies. As the river flows eastward, the climate grows wetter and other streams join the course. At last it enters dark green stretches of humid forest. In the midst of this riparian lushness, only 76 miles from the end of its course, the Missouri passes a shady bluff on the south bank, upstream from a tiny village called La Charrette. Before settlement arrived, nature had dominion over the surrounding woodlands. Wildlife ruled the forest floor, and birds abounded in the leafy canopy. Interruptions to the serenity came only from an occasional clap of thunder or crash of a falling tree. On an overcast day in May 1804, a strange sound rose from below the bluff. A party of men rounded the bend, struggling and cursing their way upstream against a current made heavy by snowmelt and spring showers, and made treacherous by driftwood and snags. They groaned aloud in English and French as they tugged on keelboat tow lines and paddled their pirogues upriver. These frontiersmen and voyageurs understood the contrary habits of waterways. They had received excellent educations along the river roads of the East. They could read ripples and rapids. They recognized woodland plants and animals. They knew how to hunt them for sustenance and shelter, and they kept a keen eye on the abundance around them. One man among them observed the land with more than passing interest. In the thick timbers and fertile bottomlands he saw a potential home. His companions called him Colter. Formal records gave his first name as John. Tradition says he was born about 1774 in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. Britain controlled the colonies then and prohibited settlement westward. But the frontier families, with their restless ways, felt confined by a boundary line impulsively scrawled on a map. Many chose to ignore the rules of a distant, disinterested